I've been writing fiction for over 10 years now, and for the last few I've been sharing my experience, both my successes and my failures, online with other writers. I've built a small community on writing advice, and I'm doing that because I figured out the secret. There's a world of writing advice out there, I'm sure you know. A lot of it is the finest quality, twice filtered, bottled at the source snake oil, and some of it is actually honest and worth hearing. The honest stuff is the only stuff that matters, and I'll get to that. The rest, to be honest, is lies. Okay, maybe I'll wind back a little bit. Maybe they're not outright lies, but there are definitely things being presented as facts, which, in fact, aren't. If someone claims to have a secret formula for addictive storytelling, they don't. If someone's figured out the paramount story structure that you absolutely must use in order for your novel to be a success, they haven't. Some of them probably believe they have those things. They've discovered something that really worked for them and helped them tell their story. You can understand the excitement to share such a discovery with an audience of eager writers or writers-to-be who will read it or hear it and believe it because they haven't learned the secret yet. You can almost understand too how a writer might think, well, if other writers don't know this, maybe I can put a price on it. Like I said, almost. Those people aren't that much of a problem because they probably haven't figured out the secret for themselves yet. The real problem comes from the ones who know all about the secret but sell snake oil anyway. They're the ones who'll tell you there's one way to do something, one best structure, one best way to keep readers hooked, one perfect approach to description. They're the ones who have bigger audiences and self-published books with swathes of reviews. Beyond the initial loyal 5-star reviews, some of those reviewers seem a bit surprised though, don't they? The books from these gurus strangely didn't live up to the hype. How can they have written such a mediocre book when they've figured out all of the complex mechanisms of the novel? It's because they know of the secret, but they wish they didn't. They've taken the easy road of promising an answer to people who are very much ready to believe there is one. They've looked at all their comments and metrics and they've realised what does well, what new writers want to be told, that there is a way. You just have to learn it. That's a much more attractive message to deliver to an eager and growing audience to keep them coming back for more than the truth is. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here. Watch any of my previous videos, read any of my articles if you doubt that. But I never have, and I never will take that approach. I've never promised results to a writer that came to me for help. I've never prescribed something that they absolutely must do. I've never given them the answer, even though in many ways it would have been easier to grow an audience that way. I didn't do that, because after 10 years of writing and 8 finished novels and countless other stories, I know the uncomfortable truth of writing. There is no secret. Writing is art. How could there ever be just one way to do it? It's a terrible and demotivating secret to know, but it's true. I give writing advice a lot, but that advice is always simply, this worked for me, maybe give it a go. Or more importantly, this didn't work for me, but that doesn't mean that it won't work for you. Writing fiction is about individual discovery and trial and error. It's about exploring your influences and your preferences. It's a balancing act of intimidating self-doubt and fierce self-belief. Sometimes it's easy, often it's not. But for me, there's always one thing that's consistently true about writing. It's inconsistent. What works today might not work tomorrow. What worked for that book might not work for this one. Try telling an audience that you're trying to grow that you don't have the answer to their problem. Try telling them when they're waiting for help from someone who's 10 years further on in the process that ultimately they'll have to figure it out for themselves. It's not easy to build a following on that kind of message. But I'd take the slow growth of the truth over the rapid rise of empty promises any day. There is no secret. Every writer is different, every story is different. The way to get better is to keep writing, keep trying stuff, keep practicing. To me, it's about passion. It's art. It's not about formulae and writing hacks. But, as I always say, that's just my experience. Yours might be totally different.